Ever wondered how a nurse coach actually transforms lives? Join us while we take you inside 3 powerful conversations to inspire your own journey. In this video, you will get an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at 3 real-life nurse coach sessions. See how nurse coaches empower their clients, tackle challenges, and create impactful change. So you can imagine yourself thriving in this transformative role.
When I asked you that question, today I want to create, what came to mind?
Peaceful confidence and courage.
Mm.
And I say peaceful because you can have confidence and courage that's all about a head knowledge, but not the heart and being peace and assured in it.
Yes.
And that's really what I would like to create.
Yeah. The most power comes from that sentence. If you were just to describe what power actually is, true power, it is peaceful, confident, and courageous.
Mm.
So you're creating power.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So would you agree there's already a part of you that is this?
I think there is a part of me that is that, but there's always this part of me that sometimes drowns that out with doubt, with, am I good enough? Can I really? Why would they choose me? Yeah. And I believe that some of that for sure just comes from the comparison trap. And like I really try to work through the comparison trap, and I know I have a head knowledge that I know the comparison trap is very dangerous. But when you look and you see and you hear, these people that seem like they're doing things on such a larger scale and so much better, and you look at your little self and it's kind of like, so why would they choose me? Or I'm just, but I on a daily basis, one of my favorite things that I tell myself, one of my own personal affirmations often, is that I'm a daughter of the King. And that the King loves his daughter. And if I am loved by the King, there's nothing that I cannot do. And so
that's higher than all of it.
That's right. Yes.
That drowns it out because it cancels it.
That's it. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
And so I have to tell myself that often when those doubts come. But I would love to get to the place that I don't struggle with those doubts as much.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to create a way of being for you from this point forward, where you can access the part of yourself that's the daughter of the King, that is peaceful, confident, and courageous. And you act from that place. You experience life from that place. You make decisions from that place. You coach from that place. You serve from that place as much as possible, without the struggle of the other part of you that seems to be a little more powerful and louder than you would like.
Gosh, I just rewatched the session myself. And in this session, we started off with a quick mindfulness meditation to drop in. And I started this coaching call with the question, what do you want to create today? And Lakeisha wanted more power. She wanted to feel less insecure and to not fall prey to the comparison trap. She already had a framework that she used that you saw. As the nurse life coach opening this session, all that I did was reflect back to her what I heard, and I contracted a beginning point of the body of the session. If you want to see this whole session, it is in the live coaching and business strategy sessions playlist. This next video is a great example of transactional coaching, which is the first style that you learn in training. It's meant to create measurable goals that a client can move towards. Think more like a protocol to success. Shelby was coaching Kim around her relationship and sharing responsibility in her family. In this very relatable session, Shelby offers perspectives on how to move forward when Kim, a nurse, is working full-time, makes great money, but still has a nagging dream. Notice in this little clip when Shelby asks, what happens if nothing changes? Oftentimes our clients are so patterned to stay the same that it takes a coach zooming out to the future and really making the point of what changes if nothing changes, or what would it be like in 3 years if nothing changes, or what could it be like in 3 years if 20% changes. Take a look.
I want to mention a resource here, Kim, for you to explore. I don't know if you're into podcasts or into books. This has both. This book is called Fair Play.
Okay.
And it's about like the division of domestic labor and particularly the mental burden that women carry around the household. And often it's because what was modeled to us as young girls, right? Of like, mom holds down the fort at home and does all the things and worries about all the things, and dad potentially works and doesn't worry about like
Anything.
the runnings of the household, because it's like one thing to do the dishes, but then it's one thing to also be thinking like, okay, we're having this for dinner. I need this casserole dish. I need to go to the grocery store and make sure that like the rice cooker's clean or the crock pot, like the mental chatter that comes along with it. And that book / podcast gives a really, like, if you're looking for a plan for you and your hubs and your daughter to sit down and be like, hey, listen, we're all busy, we're all adults, and like we're gonna split it, and this is how we're gonna split it. I love that resource. It's really excellent. Because it as an example, like, who's gonna be responsible for taking out the trash? My husband takes out the trash here. I don't even think about taking out the trash. I don't think about taking the trash out to the curb literally ever. Probably would have to think really hard on when our trash day is. But we also have had a discussion around, he likes to take the trash out when it's full to the brim and like jam packed in there, and that drives me nuts. So like we have talked through like, hey, if you're going to be responsible with the trash, super appreciate it. Can you be mindful of like, don't overstuff it, because then when I have like a pile of dirty diapers, they have nowhere to go. And is it 100%? No, Kim. But I've also agreed to just like let it fucking go.
Yeah.
Too. And that's on me. The letting it go thing, that's on me. That's a really small example of the long list of things that they take you through. But I wanted to offer that as like a tangible tool to sink your teeth into. Because you have so much free time just to be dilly-dallying in books. But that's there for you. The podcast is quicker to digest than the book is, but I'll leave that there. I can message you that afterwards too. Okay, but rewinding back before I went on that tangent of sitting down. What's your daughter's name?
Madeline.
Ooh, Madeline and Stella. Those flow well together. I like that. Sitting down with Madeline and your hubby and at least beginning this conversation. Where does that fall on the vulnerability scale for you, out of curiosity?
Like 1 to 10? Or
yeah. 10 being like, can't do it, too much, overwhelm.
Probably like a 5. It's not, it's doable. It's just,
okay.
I don't have a lot of faith that will actually work.
Yeah.
They're not good on follow through. So
yeah. Is there a way to express that to them?
I guess just tell them I need to actually happen.
Yeah. Because again, Kim, what happens if we don't?
Then it's a repeating cycle over and over again.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here like playing an imaginary game in my head of like, where's Kim at in 3 years? if nothing changes? Where's Kim at in 5 years if nothing changes? And even worse, Kim at in 5 years if like 20% changes, right? Like what if we get even just like a little wiggle room here? Of course, I would prefer that you have all the wiggle room you need, but yeah, we're kind of like stuck in a cycle of nothing changes if nothing changes.
All right, in this session, Sarah has a breakthrough about her own negative self-talk. This is what is called developmental coaching. There's a loose structure to the call, but the primary value is her own insight and her own awareness shift. We're less interested in setting SMART goals and trying to get her from one place to another and have actions after the call. This call had a deeper quality to it. And in the short clip, you can see Sarah get emotional as we explore the heaviness around food and alcohol use, but really drilled it down to negative self-talk. This session was awesome. You can find the whole session in that playlist.
As a teenager, you started creating your own patterns of how to deal with this shame. Tell me some ways. I have stories about this. Like, they're such sad stories of the types of things I would do to try to have control, and the secrets that I kept from everybody about that, and the loneliness that happens when you keep secrets. And so I think for me, a lot of that started there because there's this cascade of shame that creates the shame cycle that kind of just gets bigger and snowballs. Tell me about that time to how you're feeling today. Is it worse? Is it better? Do you have more perspective?
I think I definitely have perspective, and that almost makes it worse because I feel like it's 25 years later and I still haven't necessarily broken the cycle.
Yeah. What are some of the things you say to yourself? Like, think the nasty way that the self-talk that probably envelopes this is, I should know better. I'm a coach. Like, you give me your garden variety of things that might run through.
Oh, I'm weak. I'm a terrible
I'm
partner.
weak. Yeah.
I'm a horrible mother.
Okay.
I'm not setting a good example for my kids.
Okay.
I think that's come up a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
In my kids talking about how they see alcohol or their relationship with alcohol. And I think that's amplifying my guilt because I wonder what I have taught them, how much I've influenced the choices that they're making.
That's heavy. But I wonder which one's heavier. I'm going to give you two scenarios and then sit with it and tell me which one's heavier. On one hand, you feel this lack of self-discipline, this perhaps disordered relationship with alcohol, this inability to, you should know better, but the inability to step into that. Okay, that's the heaviness there. And even that you might be a bad example to your kids, which just weighs that down even more. That's one. The other one is the way that you allow your brain to speak to you. I am weak. I'm a terrible partner. I'm a horrible mother. I'm a shitty example. So allowing yourself to talk to yourself in that way.
All right, I hope that you are starting to see why nurses make the best coaches, because we are human beings doing extremely stressful things with other human beings, and we have the capacity to be with it. We are healers, and secretly, almost every nurse that I talk to, we kind of want to heal the world. And a lot of times in our bedside positions or in our day-to-day, we don't feel like we're making the difference that we really want to. We are natural safe spaces, and most students report that strangers tell them their life stories. So, can you see yourself doing this? Can you see yourself making money, working from home, offering sessions like this to human beings? If you do, or see just a little bit, download our How to Make Six Figures ebook. All right, guys, see ya.